Buonasera. Tonight, whoop whoop. What's up? How's it going? It's chilly here in Florida. You see me wearing flannels and 2-layer tops. My hands are cold. My heat is out. I had to have a technician over here. He couldn't come till Friday last week because Wednesday's when I went to go turn the heat on, and when I smelled kind of that funky smell, I'm like, okay, now I know heaters can have that like kind of like a burning smell at first when you haven't used it all summer, and we live in Florida, we don't use them very often, right? So here I am Wednesday night going it's cold in my bed. Ooh, I'm not even gonna chance it because there's nothing worse than just the idea that I could wake up to a fire. So I thought, I think I will shut it off and suffer through it. And then I forgot I had space heaters, right? So what I ended up doing was calling first thing Thursday morning really early to try to get someone out here. And turned out they couldn't come out till Friday. And that was on Thursday. And it was still cold. And then he came out on Friday and said, oh, looks like one of your heat strips blew. So we'll have to get the part for that. And hopefully we'll be able to get it to you by Monday. I'm like, but it's supposed to get down to 51, and apparently now it's going to get down to like 48, maybe 46. So I'm not happy. I don't like the cold. This is why I live in the warmer climates. And my fingers are kind of whitish. This is they call it Raynauds syndrome. And if you don't know about Raynauds, basically, when I get cold, it gets into the bones, and it rushes out of my extremities. It starts with the hands and the feet first. And what ends up happening then is like, it looks like there's no blood. They turn white. And then it's like, it's in the bone. And people could touch my hands even after I've warmed up. And they feel warm to touch, but internally I can still feel the cold in my bones. So it's something I've actually been working to heal over the years. And it hasn't been as bad. But man, when it gets cold and it's that time of year, I feel it. I feel it a lot. I feel it in my bones. I can find a draft in a room. It just gets that chilly for me. So, as a result of that, I was teaching Kundalini Yoga tonight. Put my bottles off to the side. Gotta drink your water too. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Drinking, drinking, drinking. So I was teaching tonight. It's all about the breath, baby. That was one of the things I did tonight was teaching breath work and basic spinal energy series. So it was a beautiful class. And I love to look out as I'm playing the gong. There's this beautiful tree. I call it the divine feminine tree because she's like this. And you can't miss her. She's just this gorgeous image within the tree, right? And it was a little chilly in the room, but you got to keep the temperature just right so people are also, not overheated and such. And then when I came home, I walked in the house. I was like, it's kind of gotten cold out tonight. And I went immediately in my bedroom, and I brought the space heater in my bedroom Thursday, and I'm like, the noises. I would have brought it in here, but it'd be too noisy on film tonight. So I figured, okay, and I had clothes on. I'm like, I'm cold, but I don't want to take my clothes off when it's that cold, right? I dragged out my flannels and my layers. I said, okay, we're gonna make this quick. Had the heat on, which felt good. And I'm like, and if you couldn't tell, I also got socks on, and they're woolies, so they're nice and warm. I'm all about the layers and keeping warm, right? So, I'm not just staying raw. I'm not just keeping it raw and staying rad. I'm also keeping it warm and staying warm. And I'm hungry too on top of that. So I'm going to have to reach into my chilled fridge to grab some colder food. And this is an interesting dynamic because a lot of people out there, if you're not used to eating raw foods and they sit in your refrigerator, you're like going, I need something warm in my belly, right? So I do eat some cooked foods when the temperatures change in season, and that's why I like things like gourds, because they're so gorgeous. Gourd season makes me happy because warm in my belly, warms up the house. I could stick in some, I have some yams from the market the other day. Oh my gosh, I got so much food. So much food. And I've already eaten, let's see. I have like all of these, I got a box. The lady at the place, she gave me a box of these cantaloupes. And so I've had cantaloupe all day. I made cantaloupe smoothie and added some kombucha to it and some flavors. It was very yummy, very, very nice, very yummy. Right? And so the box of these she gave to me, and I mean, it's a big box. So there's at least like maybe 10 or 15 of them in there. And these are the sweet ones. These are the really good ones. I got 5 of these Florida avocados because I didn't know if I was going to see these again for as cheap as she had them. I got a whole bunch of yams. These things are the bomb. I'm telling you. Do you like yams? I mean, these are just 3 of them, but I got about 6 or so, 7 maybe. Yum. What else I got? I got 2 pineapples because my dad wanted a pineapple. I got the calabasa. I got 2 big calabasas. I cooked one the other night. And then I got 3 of these huge zooks. It's all about the zooks, babe. I feel zooky. Do you feel zooky? I feel zooky. I feel cookie. I might spiralize. I haven't decided yet. And then, if you don't know about sorrel, or what they call sweet leaf at the market, I have got to show you this stuff. And you can't waste it, so even if it hits the floor, it's okay. It is so yummy. So, yes, my refrigerator's open. You know me if you've been watching me a while. Look at all these beautiful buds. See those little, these. It's from the hibiscus family. So they're totally edible. And it's unique because the flavor that you get when you bite into these, it's like a sweet sour, right? Sorrel or sweet leaf is what they call them. So this is sorrel. If you've ever been to Jamaica, the Jamaicans do a lot of the syrups with sorrel. I use the dried sorrel for my kombucha blend sometimes, but when you bite into this, it's like, yum. Buonissimo, right? So I have this big batch, $1. Just saying, if you've never tried this stuff, it's like the cotton candy grapes. Go out and find yourself some, because if you haven't had these will put the cotton candy grapes to shame, because you won't find those anymore, but you'll find these year round. And also those long watercress, they call them. There's another name, and I know Diana knows what I'm talking about. And then, Jeanette, just for you, we did go by Sam's, because Dad has had these, and he said these are really good. And I got them, the kiwi berries, and they are really good. What else? Oh, I know what I was going to get. And then, I made this salad. This is the calabaza. So check this out. And I probably ate about maybe a quarter or so, right? So good. It's so sweet. You can make smoothies with it. You can put them in a salad or something. And this is my biggest bowl, by the way. If you've not seen, I'm not that big. This bowl's big, right? So, I had to put it in the fridge. Obviously, you gotta store it, keep it away, make it sure it lasts. It's gonna last a little bit, maybe not that long. We'll see. Actually, I might want some in my dinner tonight. I'm not sure yet. The other thing I'm gonna do is I want to make a salad. So this is leftover salad from last night that was originally in that big bowl, and it was huge. Ooh, that's weird. I swear there was more in there when I first made it. And I put it away. I think the whole bowl was filled. That's interesting. Okay, so this is probably going to be dinner. Yes, definitely dinner. And I was thinking what I want to do is I want to make, put those in nori wraps. So what I did was I had gotten 2 of these, of the sweet leaves, and I put them in my salad along with the watercress, the long skinny ones, so they look like this. Let's see, that's not watercress. This I think is. Here we go. And I put the green beans. If you've seen them before, I've done these yard long beans, these things here. So I have a bunch of those in the salad. In fact, I probably will add more because the dressing that I made up is so good. And so this is the watercress. I actually have 2 types of watercress, and I totally forgot about it last night. But there's the watercress that everybody knows that's kind of spicy. This one. It's really high in, it's a great detoxer. Key lady, right? So this is the watercress that I was saying Diana knows what I'm talking about. And, ow. I'm not hungry, I'm biting my finger. Oh, this is so good. Have you not had this? So I'm going to add more of this. Going to eat more of this? I'm telling you. And if you're finding this video informative, please share. Spread the love. You know it's all about spreading the love. You never know, right? So here's the question. What lights your fire? Anybody? Anybody? So I was reflecting, and while I was teaching tonight, I always get these wonderful, like, insights. When I do my practice, and also while I'm teaching. Y'all, just come on, let's breathe together. Right? Yeah. So the watercress, exactly. It has a peppery taste to it, and it's almost got a bite. It's like a radishy kind of bite, yeah? So I'm going to add more of this, and I'm thinking I want to take the nori wraps and put some of the salad in it. It's that yummy. Let me see. Nori. Nori. I am having so much fun in my kitchen. Did I mention that? Oh, okay. All right, so we got that. What are y'all eating tonight? So back to lighting my fire. So, we're good. These are so good. Oh my gosh, you've never had these? So yummy. There we go. My knife. You know me and my knife. So one of the things I was reflecting tonight, and reminding myself, but just in a different form, because sometimes we see things from different directions, right? Ooh, split pea soup sounds yum. I remember I used to love that, right? So we talked about, and I've discussed this in some of my journal hook'ems, which of course you know I'll be doing tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. When you wonder why certain things are happening in your life, it's because it's reflecting back where you're at in your mental state, right? So I gotta take some of this out, because otherwise it won't. I'm gonna add some more of these to my salad. Wherever you're at is what you draw to you, right? So, for example, I was thinking about relationships in my past, right? How I would claim I wanted something out of the relationship, but yet I wasn't really necessarily fully open to receiving it. And we can say we desire something, but if we have a resistance to allowing ourselves to receiving that which we desire, we're actually just repelling and pushing it away. So we will attract the same individuals who are on that same vibrational frequency, meaning that if I want something, but I'm not open to receiving it, I'm going to attract somebody who is not open to not only not receiving what I'm willing to give them, which is normally going to be a reciprocation of what I want to receive, right? We tend to give what we want, right? At least many people do it in the beginning of their relationships, because do unto others as you want done unto yourself. It tends to start in the mind that, well, if I like something, then they'll like something, right? It's a projection, and we tend to do that. We'll project our stuff upon people. But most people will say, well, that's not what I'm doing. But we are. It's coming from the belief system. So when you're putting it out there to the universe, your vibrational frequency in your mind, you're thinking, I want this. But really what your vibration in your body is putting out there is that it doesn't always, you're not always consciously aware of where you're at. Your mind may say, I want this, but your body and your frequency is saying another thing. And so therefore, you're going to attract whatever your vibrational frequency is. And so I looked back upon a lot of my relationships where I wanted commitment, but yet I was distant. And so I wasn't showing up for these relationships the way I wanted the other person to show up for me in the relationship. And looking at that now, I'm able to say, oh my gosh, I wasn't allowing myself to receiving. I wasn't even open to receiving it. I just had this facade in my mind that thought that's what I wanted, but didn't know how to actually achieve it because I wasn't aware of my own stuff, internal stuff. I wasn't going within. I was just doing that going without thing that I talk about. And that's where most of us are like doing, it's something when I lived in Italy, we'd say grasping for something, but not getting, it's like air. You can't grab it. You can't hold on to it. It's all within you. And so when you start to work on that self-love, the nurturing, like I talked about earlier, the self-care, when you're really open to allowing yourself to receive it and letting it in, then it's going to show up for you. No matter what's going on in your life, whatever shows up is where you're at and what you've cultivated over the times. If you have had bad relationships or circumstances, it's simply reflecting back to you what it is you need to work on. If you claim you want something, you have to start to work on it. You have to go within and ask yourself, what is it that I'm doing to block myself from wanting that? Do I want it for the right reasons? Is it going to serve me? There's so many questions you have to, only you will know, and only you can do that work. Nobody can do it for you. You can't go to a psychiatrist or psychologist. Sure, you can try, but it's going to be, a long process. And so tonight it was really beautiful because I'm sitting there going, wow, that's like in my face. And now I kind of get a little bit more powerfully, a little bit more profound, that I can see now how in my past I wasn't showing up for me and I wasn't letting things in. I wasn't allowing myself to receive what it was I claimed I wanted. And so now I've been, I spent years separated myself in relationships, did not, have that focus of I had to have someone else to completely, I don't need a person to come into my life. I really wanted to feel good with me and love myself first, because how could someone else love you if you don't love yourself? If you're not harvesting self-love, who do you expect is going to show up? Somebody else who's not harvesting self-love. If you work on you, you heal you, you're going to draw in another healed person. Because anybody who shows up in your life is going to mirror back to you the same pains, hurts, triggers, whatever's going on. They're going to match you. That's vibrationally, that's scientifically. I'm just throwing that out there. I know from my personal experience, that's exactly where I have been in my past. And I haven't, like I said before, if you've watched some of my journal hook'ems, about November of 2014, when I sold my house in Maryland, I put it out to the universe. I said, I've been doing a lot of work on myself, and I've written about this a lot, that I said, I'm ready I'm open for whenever my partner shows up. My life partner, the person that I would love to spend the rest of my life with. Or, for me, I'm very selective. I can't even do the dating scene. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know about anybody else out there. It can be difficult, but then, it's a matter of showing up for yourself first and not compromising yourself. That when you're just doing what you do and being who you are, you be you, right? Harvesting the love. You're gonna radiate. You're gonna draw on the right person. And so I experienced some of those reminders of where I had been in my past over the past nearly 3 years now, and watching how, man, I had some freaky deeks showing up in my life. I don't know about y'all, if you've ever experienced this, where you're like, oh, this person seems so nice, and then all of a sudden they do something like, wait a minute, this seems way too familiar. I don't think I want to go down. I don't want to traverse that path again. Been there. And I was saying how when I first bought this house, I had people showing up to do work. And I had some very unusual characters showing up that were just crazy. I do believe in the power of prayer and miracles, and so, whatever you believe is yours, and I honor that. For me, I've been doing Kundalini yoga now for years, and I believe in, number one, I smudged. I took the sage, and I had a special smudging that I did, and I walked through this house and my back building, because I have 2 buildings on my property, and I chanted for hours. Because the thing is that's a protective mantra. And you can do other mantras, and I know I was doing other mantras, but that was my main mantra, and I was chanting and chanting and chanting, and I cleared it. This is how I interpret it. You can interpret whatever you want, but this was my experience. I chanted for like 2 hours in both buildings. I smudged all the corners. I smudged the whole house, and I do this off and on. I don't just do it one time and I'm done. I mean, you gotta shift things, right? And I'm gonna tell you, I had one guy disappear. He left all his tools. He didn't come back to get paid. He just disappeared. And I asked the person who had referred them and said, have you heard from this person? And they said, oh yeah. So I was like, okay, didn't return my calls. I'm like, whatever. What am I supposed to do? I'm not going to go running after somebody. And at one point he kind of talked about like, oh, you know, I had this dream and I swear it's like I know you from another life. And like I literally had people thinking they were talking my language. It was really embarrassing to me to watch somebody try to go, oh, this isn't good feng shui. I had this guy who was supposed to be helping me, that I was paying to help me, who was trying to weasel in like, oh, do you like Thai food? And do you... That's insulting to me. I'm paying you and you're trying to hit on me at the same time, right? And then another, yeah, I had at least about 5 of them, okay? Oh, that's not good feng shui. Oh, that's bad juju. And like, even degrading talking to me when I would wear my turban, because when I was doing Kundalini yoga, and I really do believe in the turban does protect your energy and can, you know, enhance your intuitive nature. And so interestingly enough, I had one guy even say, well, I don't know what's going on up in that turban, because he was so wanting things a certain way that he was projecting like it was a bullying tactic. Like, I should take off my turban to make you feel better about yourself, you know, to feel more comfortable around me. It was an interesting dynamic. So reflecting upon all of that over the past 3 years, and it's gotten so much better since then, right? Yeah, my life has gotten better. I mean, I've met some interesting people. Last year I had an interesting encounter with the gentleman, and it didn't work out. It fizzled. And I'm grateful for it. You know why? Because it brought up old triggers. It brought up old thought patterns and behaviors that I had to sit with. And I was like, oh, wow. You know what? That's how that person served me. Thank you. It didn't go any further. And that's all that they were meant to do. And that's how people show up in your life. To remind you where you've been, where you're going, and what you need, and what you're worth. Because that there, it's called, I call it the litmus test. Have you learned your lesson? Because the lesson's going to keep popping up until you have learned the lesson. And once you've learned the lesson, guess what? You'll see those patterns drop off. They may show up once in a blue moon to remind you, hey, did you remember that? It's like, pfft. And then you can laugh at it and just go, I've already been there, done that. I don't need to go back there. It's all good, right? Moving on up, right? So I just wanted to share that, because I wonder how many of you out there recognize that your experiences really boil down to where you're at inside. And if you're not looking within and trying to heal whatever it is that comes up in your life repeatedly as a pattern, I don't know why this always keeps happening to me. Oh, woe is me. Hey, I did that for years. If you're experiencing that, it's time to sit in meditation. It's time to breathe and become present. Because the more you're trying to go into the future, get stuck in the past, you're not going anywhere, baby. Momentum starts in the moment. You want to pick up the momentum of life and flourish and thrive. Start harnessing that inner self-love and care. Because that present moment, you take in that deep breath and you witness, where am I at? What is going on right here? Doesn't that feel good? Sometimes all you need is 3 long, deep breaths, to recenter, to refocus, to recalibrate, to become present in this moment. You want to gain that momentum to move forward, for your life to unfold with ease and grace. That's called being present. And it starts with self, within, and not going without. It sounds simple, I know, but it's the application that we all have to learn. It's the integration into our livelihoods. It shifts your life, you know. Shift happens, baby. You want change, you want things to be a certain way, you have to make a change within. Or you have to reflect, you have to become present. And in order for things to unfold, it's just going to happen. The resistance is what causes the suffering. I want it this way. Well, it's not, so therefore I negate what is. And then our culture has caused us to be so easily adaptable to seeing what's wrong and what we don't have, that we fail to recognize what we do have. And it really boils down to, you want to be grateful for all those beautiful experiences that are happening in your life, all that you have. You are abundant. You have everything you need right here, right now. And if you're more present and more grateful and appreciating it, it will grow. But if your focus is on the don'ts and what you don't have and want, and the circumstances don't match your perfect vision, then you're just going to experience more of the lack. The abundance comes from focusing on what it is you have and that you want to continue, right? And that's what I wanted to share with you tonight, because whatever it is that lights your fire, that's what you got to keep on fire. Bring it into the moment. Keep it simple. It's not that difficult. It's only this right here that takes you out of it. Does that help anyone out there? We got long yard beans from the market this weekend. Ding, 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 ding. Anybody feeling playful out there? I'm so hungry. So tonight I did the basic breath series, Haryang. And man, tonight the breath of fire had me on fire. So good. And what lights my fire? I absolutely adore, love teaching. I love my practice. I love my days. I love waking up. I love everything about my life right now. I can't complain. Today, for example, market, $1 for a whole bunch of these. And the bunch was about that big around. I woke up super early this morning. And, I heard my neighbor mowing his lawn. Now, my lawnmower broke, I don't know, a while back, maybe a month ago. I have no concept of time, just saying. Especially with that hurricane that we're supposed to get, Irma or something, right? So, what ended up happening was that I'm like, you know what, I better go ask. And I've been wanting to ask this particular neighbor because he has a rider and I have a big backyard. So, come tomorrow morning, Diana. I'm teaching at 9 a.m. So, lawnmower, I'm hearing it. I'm thinking, I better run out there and get him. And it was cold. So, I had long pants on. And I'm like, I go outside. It's like, hey, how you doing? I don't suppose I could ask a favor of you, because if you're possibly able to do it, I said, I'll give you some gas. Man, he came back and he mowed my entire yard, y'all. You don't know how happy that made me. So happy. Like, I don't don't have to mow the yard now with the weed whacker, because that wasn't very effective, and that's all I'm going to say. The weed whacker only does so much. It trims, but it was silly. If you ever saw me over here, you'd be like going, when did you get a lawnmower? And then, you want to know the icing on the cake? He had an extra one in his backyard, and he said, hey, I'll just bring you over my other one. You can just have that. I'm like, really? Score? Isn't that the coolest? And this is what I'm talking about. And the other day I was saying how, I know there's got to be a way to do this. My funds and my budget's a little bit lower right now, so it's okay. I'm thinking either I got to get the lawnmower that I had fixed, which I put by the road and somebody picked up within like 2 minutes. I swear, I didn't even see them show up, but the lawnmower was out and gone. And that's how this happens in my neighborhood. So, funny enough, when I went over to ask him to mow my lawn, or actually use his lawnmower, I would have done it myself. He's like, oh yeah, in fact, you said you got gas? I'll do it, no problem. He said he put his gas can out in front of the house one day, and he said he turned his back for a second and someone took it. It was gone. I said, yeah, it's a good and bad thing around here. It's like, on the one hand, our yards pretty much stay clean because people just take whatever is left out there. On the other hand, it's like, don't put anything you don't want to lose, right? So I've been just basically going through, and one of my things for this Beyond Addiction program that I'm taking right now is that I need to declutter. I need to get rid of stuff that's no longer serving me. And I know I've said this before in the very beginning when I was doing these videos when I started, that I have a lot of boxes of stuff from my past life. And I have beautiful stuff that I'd like to, at least turn over an energetic profit from, because I take care of my stuff. I very meticulously maintain my clothes. I have a lot of designer. I have a lot of fancy purses, shoes, and scarves, and accessories, and everything else. And I love a lot of my stuff, but I'm not using a lot of it either. So, it's these things that I'm slowly but surely releasing so that I can allow what it is I really want in my life. And really what I want is a lot more carefree, a lot less attachment, because truly every time you're attached to something, it's got power over you. It's holding you back because you're giving it your, oh, I can't let go of that. It's holding you back. I have no desire for my past to come back. There are some items I will keep because I do cherish them. Like I have a lot of stuff that was my grandmother's. I have, and I would never get rid of it because of my family. I would want it to be passed on. And so, so that's some of the things that today, if you don't believe in, the power of prayer and manifesting miracles, I'm sorry, my life is a miracle. And that's what I'm the most grateful for, is I can reflect through my journals and a lot of things that I know I've thought about, and it just immediately happens. And it makes my heart so happy when I see, just the other day, I was thinking this, and all of a sudden it happened, It's so amazing. This life is so precious. And so, embrace it. Enjoy it. Live it, love it, learn it. Inspire through inspired living, right? So, I was going to stay on here a little longer, but y'all, if I keep talking, I won't eat, and I'm starving. I'm really, really hungry. But I love you all, and I just wanted to let you know I'm here. I'll be a lot more present in the videos now. I do have, this weekend I will be 3 days in a teacher training, so I may have to take a little reprieve Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But reach out to me and Tom and let us know what it is that, what interests you as far as some of our topics on our group page as to what you'd like us to discuss, because I'm seeing some amazing comments. I love that you're all present in the polls and that you've been sharing a lot of your own personal stuff in there, because I know for myself, like the poll I did today, chronic pain, dis-ease, discomfort in my body, that's something I've lived with, and I really want to open this up, the forum, so that everybody finds their way towards some healing in their life. I do believe personally that your lifestyle, and I don't mean just food, but food is a big part of it, but it starts here. It's all encompassing, mind, body, soul. If you've watched my videos before, you understand that ultimately it's all connected. So if your senses, if you're not tasting, touching, seeing, feeling, hearing, right? If your 5 senses aren't fully engaged and balanced, neither will any of the other senses. You know, it's all about getting it all into balance and harmony so you can free flow with the divine grace, right? Ease, you know, moving, no resistance. Yes. Oh, I love you, Diana. Big hugs and kisses to all of you. Thank you for all of your messages. It's going to be a little hard to catch up with everyone. I have had to take a little bit of a breather off of social media. As you know, I've been kind of popping in here a little bit more. And I just want you to all have an amazing, soulful Sunday. Focus on what lights your fire. Recognize what it is that's burning within you that you want to ignite. Life's too short. Don't get caught up in what you don't want. Focus on what you do want. Don't worry about the menu. Focus on, you know, what feels good. Be present. Keep it raw. Stay rad. I love you all. What?